Breaking the silence, Anna and Josh Duggar's official divorce. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am Elena and I hope you are well. If you like the video, please subscribe the channel USA Dramatic Show and press the bell icon. For over a decade, Anna Duggar had stood by her husband, Josh Duggar, through some of the most turbulent public scandals ever seen in modern evangelical reality TV history. Known for their role in TLC's 19 Kids and Counting, the couple presented an image of traditional family values, faith-based parenting, and unwavering marital commitment. But behind closed doors, the silence was not peace, it was pain. Anna, raised in a deeply conservative Christian household, was taught that marriage was forever. Even as accusations, court trials, and devastating revelations rocked her world, she had stayed. Until now. On a warm August morning in 2025, a simple but shocking joint statement appeared on Anna's newly reactivated social media page. After much prayer, discussion, and counseling, we have decided to officially end our marriage. This has not been an easy decision, but it is one made with peace in our hearts. We ask for privacy and grace as we navigate the future. Anna and Josh Duggar. The Duggar world was shattered. And this time, there would be no going back. Anna Renee Keller met Josh Duggar in 2006 during a family homeschool conference. Their courtship followed the strict Duggar rules: no physical touch, supervised visits, and constant prayer. They married in 2008. At the time, Anna was 20, full of hope and belief in her husband's character. Josh was already working for the Family Research Council, seen as a rising star in the conservative movement. The early years of their marriage were filled with babies, 7 in total, and the spotlight. They lived a life that appeared picture-perfect, but cracks began to show in 2015 when reports surfaced of Josh's teenage molestation incidents involving his sisters and a babysitter. Anna stood by him. "I know who Josh is," she said then. "He's been honest with me from the beginning. I forgive him." But the storm hadn't truly begun. Just months after the molestation revelations, hackers exposed a list of users from the affair-seeking website Ashley Madison. Josh Duggar's name was among them, twice. Anna was pregnant with their 4th child. Josh admitted to cheating and a pornography addiction. He checked into rehab. The Duggar family issued statements of repentance. The media swirled with judgment. Through it all, Anna remained silent. In a rare appearance, she said, "Forgiveness isn't always easy, but it is what Christ calls us to." Public sympathy was divided. Some admired her strength, others questioned her silence. But Anna held to her faith and her vows. In December 2021, the world stopped for Anna when her husband was arrested on federal child pornography charges. The content was described by prosecutors as the worst of the worst. Anna attended every day of the trial, her face stoic, her lips pressed tight. She refused to speak to media. Her family, the Kellers, urged her to come home, but she declined. In May 2022, Josh Duggar was sentenced to 12.5 years in federal prison. Still, Anna did not file for divorce. She believes in redemption, a source close to the family said at the time. She's praying for a miracle. That miracle never came. Over the next 3 years, Anna's life revolved around her children. She moved closer to the prison to facilitate visits. She homeschooled the kids, attended church, and leaned heavily on a few supportive Duggar sisters-in-law like Joanna and Jinger. But there was a shift. Anna began quietly attending therapy through a faith-based women's center in Arkansas. Her older children started asking questions. Her eldest daughter, Mackenzie, 15, was especially affected by the absence of her father. She wanted to protect them, a family insider shared. But she couldn't shield them forever. In late 2024, Anna ceased prison visits. Inside the Duggar clan, loyalties were divided. Jim Bob and Michelle maintained that marriage was a sacred bond and that Anna should remain faithful. But not all their children agreed. Jinger Duggar Vuolo, who had previously distanced herself from the family's strict teachings, reached out privately to Anna. She said, "I deserve to be safe, to be free," Anna later revealed in a closed women's support group. "For the first time, I wondered if staying was actually harming my children more than leaving." Public opinion had long shifted. Online support groups for ex-evangelicals and Duggar critics rallied behind Anna. The pressure was mounting. And she was listening. In early 2025, Anna met with a Christian divorce attorney. It was the first step toward freedom. Privately, she filed the paperwork in April. In July, the divorce was finalized. No fanfare. No tabloid exclusives. Just a quiet visit to the courthouse, a small signed paper, and a new chapter. When she and Josh released their joint statement in August, it was the first time in over a decade that they had publicly acknowledged their fractured relationship. Josh, still in prison, did not contest the filing. Sources say he cried when served the papers, but ultimately agreed. Even he knew it was over, said a friend close to the situation. He just never expected her to actually walk away. Anna Duggar is no longer the woman she was at 20. Now 36, she's a single mother of 7, living in a modest home in Arkansas. She has begun working part-time at a local Christian school and volunteers at her church's food pantry. She recently enrolled in an online counseling certification program, hoping to one day help women in abusive or toxic relationships. "I'm not bitter," she shared in a recent church testimonial. "But I am awake now." She no longer attends Duggar family events. She declined invitations to the annual Duggar Christmas and Joyanna's baby shower. Her focus is on healing, stability, and creating a healthy environment for her children. Her Instagram, once dormant, now features scripture verses about strength, courage, and renewal. Occasionally, she posts pictures of her kids hiking, painting, or baking. No filters. No hashtags. Just life. The public responded with overwhelming support. Finally, Anna wrote one fan. "You deserve peace." Some evangelicals criticized the divorce, but a growing number praised her strength and faith-based reasoning. Jessa and Jinger both liked Anna's divorce announcement. Jill Dillard, who has long spoken out against the Duggar family's patriarchal control, released a short but poignant post. "Proud of you, Anna. You're doing what's best for your kids. That takes courage." Jim Bob and Michelle have yet to make a public statement. But insiders claim the family is grieving the loss of their belief in perfect order. The Duggar brand, one media analyst noted, has officially crumbled. And Anna, quietly, may be the strongest one of them all. For the first time in years, Anna Duggar is dreaming again. She hopes to take her kids on a road trip to the Grand Canyon next summer. She's considering writing a book, part memoir, part devotional for women trapped in toxic marriages. "I want my daughters to know they never have to stay where they are not safe," she wrote in her personal journal. "And my sons, to learn how to honor women the way Christ did." Though her journey has been long, painful, and publicly scrutinized, Anna Duggar is rising. Not as a reality star's wife. Not as a passive bystander. But as a survivor. As a mother. As a woman of quiet but unbreakable faith.
Jed and Katie admitted that the speed with which their family has grown has been shocking. As reported by TV Insider, Jed and Katie told Jinger and her husband, Jeremy Volo, that the speed with which their family has grown has been shocking. "We've known each other 5 years, so when we look at it like that, we're like, wow, this has been crazy," said Katie. When asked whether they'd welcome more children, Jed said it was something he and Katie were praying about, while Katie said that they would love to just enjoy the kids they have right now for a good minute. For now, they consider themselves on sabbatical from having children. The Duggar family became famous due to their extra-large brood, and the family has been through its fair share of trials and tribulations since their original reality show, 19 Kids and Counting, went off the air in 2015 after son Josh Duggar was exposed for molesting several of his sisters during childhood. The family has failed to regain their fame and popularity in the years since the scandal. Their appeal was always rooted in family values, which is why they had so many kids to begin with. By stating that they're on a sabbatical from expanding their family, Jed and Katie are drawing a distinction between their family and the Duggar family. The Duggars claimed that more children were gifts from God, so the more they had, the more blessed they were. Jed and Katie clearly reflect their family and the values they were raised with, but they're not in a rush to have more children. They said they are preying on it, but won't be moving too quickly. One of the many criticisms of families like the Duggars is that the parents are stretched too thin between trying to care for all of their children's emotional and physical needs. For Jed and Katie to say they want to relish the time they have with their children while they're young means that they probably have learned from their past and want to do what's best for their family as it is currently. This is a major distinction between the way Jed and Katie are raising their family and the way Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, Jed's parents, raised theirs. By spacing out their children, Jed and Katie are trying their best to be available and present as parents to their 4 young children without adding any more to the mix just yet. The Counting On stars are not abandoning the values they were raised with, but they are making sure that it will work for their family and they're doing it on their own time. That's progress from the early days of the family, and it's a sign that the Duggars aren't immune from changing with the times. Times. Time. Not abandoning the values they were raised with, but they are making sure that it will work for their family and they're doing it on their own time. That's progress from the early days of the family, and it's a sign that the Duggars aren't immune from changing with the times. Katie Jed Duggar admit to having kids at a crazy pace after meeting just 5 years ago. It's been a whirlwind few years for Jed Duggar and his wife, Katie. After all, having 4 kids under the age of 4 would be a lot for anyone to handle, but it seems no one is more aware of just how wild that is than Jed and Katie themselves, who opened up about the crazy pace they started their family during an appearance on the Duggar Jeremy podcast this week. Alchut's sister, Duggar Duggar, and her husband, Jeremy Volo, to record an episode of their podcast, opening up about how quickly they got married and started a family after meeting. The couple tied the knot in April 2021, welcoming son Truett in May 2022. Their daughter Nora followed a year later, and their twins, Elsie and Emma, were born in January 2025. "We've known each other 5 years," Katie said on the podcast. "So when we look at it like that, we're like, wow, this has been crazy." Now that they're raising 4 children, Jed and Katie admitted that they're planning to pump the brakes for a bit. When Jeremy asked if they were going to keep going, Katie said they're currently on a sabbatical from having babies. "We would love to just enjoy the kids we have right now for a good minute," she told him. "It's an insanely busy season, the little years, especially because we have 2 infants right now. It's just all hands on deck at all times 24/7. Jed and Katie have no plans to have 19 kids like his parents did. Even though Jed and Katie are on track to outpace Jim Bob and Michelle, they were very clear on the podcast that they're not trying to break his parents' record. In fact, at this point, they said they're planning to have 5 or 6 kids total, which would mean they'll be winding down this part of their family journey soon, unless they change their minds, of course. Life has been very busy for these two. When you have twins, you're both doing the same thing at the same time, Katie said. It's not like, I'll change them this time, you change them next time. No, we're both changing them at the same time because we've got 2 at once. But as chaotic as this time must be for Jed and Katie, it doesn't sound like they'd want it any other way. Former Counting On star Jed Duggar and his wife Katie recently appeared in his sister Duggar Duggar's podcast with her husband, Jeremy Volo. And during their sit-down, the couple discussed whether they want more kids after breaking a crazy family record. On the June 18th episode of the Duggar Jeremy podcast, Jed and Katie, both 26, opened up about their lives after welcoming twin girls, Elsie and Emma, in January. The couple also shares a daughter, Nora, 2, and a son, Truett, 3, after marrying in April 2021. If you do the math, that means the former TLC personality and his wife had 4 children ages 2 and under for a brief period of time. "We've known each other 5 years," Katie shared, "so when we look at it like that, we're like, wow, this has been crazy." "That's insane," Duggar agreed. Later in the episode, Jeremy asked the question likely on many fans' minds. So you guys are 4 in 4 years. Are you going to keep going? We're just praying about that, Jed answered, as Katie joked they were taking a sabbatical from growing their family for the time being. We would love to just enjoy the kids we have right now for a good minute, she explained. It's an insanely busy season, the little years, especially because we have 2 infants right now. It's just all hands on deck at all times, 24/7. Ultimately, Jed said he and Katie both have a number in mind, revealing, "We'd love to have 5 or 6 kids." Fun fact, having 4 kids ages 2 and under actually puts Jed and Katie ahead of the pace of his parents, Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar. Their eldest son, the disgraced Josh Duggar, was 3 by the time their 4th child, Jill Duggar, was born in May 1991. Twins John David and Jana were born between them in January 1990. Jed Duggar and his wife Katie are already outpacing his parents, 19 kids and counting stars Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar, and they still want more children. On June 18th, Katie and Jed were featured on his sister Jinger Duggar, Volo's podcast, with her husband, Jeremy Volo. The TLC siblings and their spouses touched on several topics in the most recent episode of the Jinger Jeremy podcast, and among them was their family size. In January, Jed and Katie welcomed twin daughters, Emma and Elsie. They also have a son, Truett 3, and a daughter, Nora 2. But for a few months, the young couple had 4 kids, ages 2 and under. This jaw-dropping fact is a feat that even Michelle and Jim Bob didn't accomplish with their first 4 kids. That's because when their 4th child, Jill Duggar, was born, their twins, Jana Duggar and John David Duggar, were 1, and their eldest son, Josh Duggar, was already 3. We've known each other 5 years, Katie said of having 4 kids and 4 years of marriage with her counting-on husband. So when we look at it like that, we're like, wow, this has been crazy. It's worth noting, however, that Michelle and Jim Bob later had 4 kids, ages 2 and under. Josiah Duggar was still 2, and Joy Anna Duggar was 1 when twins Jed and Jeremiah were born in December 1998. Later, Jeremy asked Katie and Jed if they planned on adding more kids to their brood, and to that, Jed shared, "We're just praying about that. We would love to just enjoy the kids we have right now for a good minute," Katie stressed. It's an insanely busy season, the little years, especially because we have 2 infants right now. It's just all hands on deck at all times, 24/7. The couple also revealed they want 5 or 6 kids in total, but time will tell what number they ultimately reach as they continue counting on. Meanwhile, Jed's older sister, Jessa Duggar, is pregnant and due with her 6th baby in July. Next, James Duggar makes bold confession about illegal activity in super rare interview. Jed Katie Duggar set insane family record, still want more. Kids first appeared on Parade on June 20th, 2025. This story was originally reported by Parade on June 20th, 2025, where it first appeared.